Chapter 4. Was it wise to push Brython so far? Edmure questioned. The man needs to be dealt with, Jesfeld replied. He has an invaluable gift. The coalition will suffer from his loss. Edmure ran his finger along the side of his broken nose. Clint is the only other person with the ability. I am aware. From everything I have seen, Brython is going to bring down the coalition if left to his own devices. I'll have to take your word for it, Edmure said. I am not gifted with prophetic sight. I would call it anything other than a gift, Jesfeld replied, frowning. Knowing things in advance can be both blessing and burden. I just wish the sight was more detailed in every circumstance. Flashes and images are the vast majority of what I see, but there is no mistaking Brython's intentions. What had made him become a liability? His involvement with Domkin, Jesfeld told him. The Falcast leader has his sights set on the enforcement coalition. Chuckled. Domkin's designer, no secret warlock. Jesfeld walked behind the counter of his shop, scrying bowl in hand. True, but Brython is a trusted and admired member of the enforcement coalition. He could sway other members to his side with a few misplaced rumors. And with his gift, they would be inclined to believe him without investigation. Edmure walked around Jesfeld's store, admiring the collection of items used in the warlock's trade. The table containing hallucinogens was of particular interest. Jesfeld had several roots and herbs that ranged from incapacitation to death. He knew Jesfeld sold these items, but found it odd to actually see them within the store. The table is frequented by your associates, Jesfeld said, pouring the liquid from the scrying bowl back into its container. I have replenished the contents more times than I care to recall. Does it not bother you to be associated with thieves and killers? Edmure picked up a jar containing strawberry. Selling these items are meant to kill without a person being the wiser. No more than it bothers you to work for the man who once faces his position. Domkin has grand designs that will never come to fruition, Edmure stated. His avarice outweighs his intelligence. Placing the strawberry back on the table, he chose another vial containing a dark, viscous liquid. Silphium, he asked. Before you judge me, the plant has kept a great many of unwanted children from becoming victims to the flesh peddlers. Does not leave the unborn much choice, Edmure stated. I understand the reasoning, but have concerns over the moral implications. I advise the use of birth control, Edmure. Some listen, some refuse. There are several non-habit-forming alternatives to silphium. There are minimal side effects as well. Then you should quit selling silphium, Edmure advised, placing the vial back on the table. And have the charlatans of Warlock's Way peddling the inferior version? You seem to forget I'm the only legitimate warlock in the city. Frandon is capable of minor spells, but his goods are of inferior quality. Jesfeld joined Edmure at the table. I cannot control people's lives, young man, but I can provide them with items that will not kill them. Selling finer quality items makes it morally justified, Edmure asked, a lopsided grin on his face. You will not drag me into an argument over the morality of what I am doing, Jesfeld told him. People have a right to choose for themselves. Our government does not leave most with the right choice. Men join the military, women join the brothels. There are other choices, Edmure argued, like thieving or assassination. Those are the right choice? I said no such thing, Edmure replied, coughing to cover a laugh. I mentioned other choices, not that they were better choices. Different people have various beliefs, Jesfeld said, moving back to the counter. Emotion plays a role in their belief. Their stance could change depending on their emotional state. Some might become antagonistic just to argue. This is why topics of this nature are never pleasant to discuss in super company. I know what type of man you are, and would never berate you for what you sell. The heart of a person should not be weighed by social beliefs. However, Edmure said, making brushing motion with his hand, this is how everyone is judged. Social bias, emotion, level of intelligence all play a part in how we judge. You fall in the minority, Jesfeld replied. People are strange, myself included, but we are not here to discuss social behavior or status. Jesfeld reached under the counter and brought out 2 glasses and a decanter filled with dark liquid. Let us return to business. Should we drink too much of that, Edmure said, pointing at the decanter, we will not be discussing business for long. We will monitor our intake, Jesfeld promised. With food, we can manage. Kaisen rum is the best in the world, but the potency is far beyond other rums, Edmure said. What do you suppose makes their brand more potent? A trade secret, Jesfeld replied, shrugging. I've never wanted to know the answer enough to investigate. Might be something worth looking into once you are finished here, Edmure said, sipping from his rum. Could be extremely lucrative. I have no need for wealth. You know this, Edmure. It's just a suggestion. A man with your power could easily. We have had this conversation before, Jesfeld growled. I am who I am. No changing now. Okay, let us to business then. Jesfeld pulled 2 chairs from the back of his shop, placing them just in front of his counter. He walked over to the door and locked it. He turned the sign so no customers would know or knock on the door while they were in deliberation. He peered both ways through the large window. Down Stellan Road, scanning corners and rooftops, he found nothing out of the ordinary. Domgan pushed too quickly with Brython, Edmure announced. Brython was fanatical before Domgan spoke with him. Brython's fanaticism is going to be the justification of Clint's contract, Jesfeld replied, sitting down with his rum. I did not have to push much to send his emotions over the edge of reason. And here I was, believing you had pushed too hard. Not everyone in the organization is intelligent, Jesfeld said. Most thieves and assassins are smart, but there are those select few who are a hair's breadth away from insanity. Brython happens to be one of them. Edmure sipped his rum. How did Faceless discover Strat's potential? Jesfeld watched Edmure. The young man was intelligent and cunning, dangerous combination. However, his father added another level of concern when dealing with him. Two-Tooth was Edmure's father. Two-Tooth was second in command in the Enforcement Coalition and a legendary pickpocket. Jesfeld was uncertain how much to divulge, even though he and Edmure were working to ensure Strat would make his way to Uzalon in the future. The man is an enigma among your kind, Jesfeld told him. His real power comes from another source. Not another person before you ask. It is something within him. Why are you cryptic? Edmure queried. What is discussed here today goes no further than you and I, Jesfeld. And you should know this. I've been a part of your plans since you moved to Seedy Acres. This is why I'm an assassination in Falcast and not Joron. I put distance between my father and myself just for this reason. Faceless retains a portion of Rick's, Jesfeld informed him. That answers the question of why he recovers quickly, Edmure said, sitting back in his chair. Rumors abounded over his incredible healing. Rick's makes perfect sense. I would not share that information with anyone, Jesfeld warned. Should it become known, it might force individuals to pursue a reckless course of action. I understand. Your message was received when you hesitated to share this information. Forgive me, Edmure. Information can be extracted by those with magic. My hesitancy is not from your trust. It is fear of the enemy capturing you. I have vowed never to be taken alive, Jesfeld. Being clobbered from behind, struck by magic from a distance with dumb luck can make your vow moot. You are one of the best assassins in Los Angeles, but magic trumps all form of physical prowess. This is one of the reasons NIST is reviled and feared. I thought NIST was feared for the effect it had on those who retained it in any portion, Edmure questioned, a perplexed look on his face. Only the hearts of Uzalon were affected by such a manner. Jesfeld drained his glass and poured himself another. He did not return to his chair. Those tribal people were never meant to receive NIST or Griggs. Why? What makes them so different? They were not created by the same being who formed us, Jesfeld told him, a distant look to his eyes. They have been on Shangiros less than 1,500 years. They were the first to enact a calendar. Before them, we kept only an oral history. Another mystery solved, Edmure stated, joining Jesfeld at the counter. Explains why your year is only 1,279. You are taking this with great aplomb, Jesfeld retorted. I am no scholar, Edmure replied, filling his glass. The news must have been exciting for you. I, on the other hand, am willing to accept the news as accurate and move on. Not much call for historical study in my profession. The organizations would do well to learn from history, Jesfeld told him. I am sure the leaders and the leaders in training study history. I have no desire to become a leader, Edmure admitted honestly. You would be a valuable asset in that position. I would have to leave a hole in the organization when I depart for Uzalon, Edmure reminded him. Besides, I do not see Domgan electing to step down before that time. Falcast will not suffer a void in the leadership this way. You just don't want to study history, Jezebel chided. That is true, but not that reason. Domgan lives for his work. I am good at what I do. I just don't want to be doing this my whole life. Fortunately for me, prophecy has chosen to grant my wish. You might want to change your mind, Jerusalem, Jezebel told him. Strahd is fortunate to have people who believe what is revealed. Cryptic again, Edmure scolded. I know what is facing me, Warlock. We all knew the risk when we accepted your revelations. Our lives will be risked for the future of Shanguros. We are aiding and changing what is to come. It would be unthinkable to leave those poor souls to the fate that would await them. Domgan is going to become a problem, Edmure. He has hired Kelton to become his eyes and ears from Joron. Faceless will be paying Kelton a visit tomorrow. What are you not saying, Jezebel? Faceless is going to kill Kelton, Jezebel informed him. For being a spy? I find that hard to believe. Each consortium has spies among the kingdoms. Kelton happens to be located in an advantageous location. Faceless will soon be enacting a restoration project in Seedy Acres. Kelton's shop can see all Stellan Road, making it a prime position to keep tabs on who comes and goes. Killing Kelton will start a war between the Enforcement Coalition and the Sicario Consortium, Edmure stated. What is Faceless thinking? Kelton should have refused Domgan's agreement. Faceless needs the shop to move his plans forward, and should the Sicario Consortium provoke him, it will be a one-sided affair. Faceless is more dangerous than you know. Rix can only heal a man so fast, Edmure replied. Even a man with its power could not survive dozens of arrows in his chest. Faceless will only be caught unawares once, Edmure. Jezreel poured himself another drink, but did not sip. And after the encounter, he will never be so again. Do not ask. I will not volunteer the information. Suffice it to say, Faceless might be more potent and frightening than Ryam. How is that possible? Edmure demanded, setting his drink on the counter to keep from spilling it. There is no one more evil and malevolent than Ryam. Was this revealed to you, or are you just guessing? I know both men, Edmure. Ryam is evil, yes, but his insanity makes him vulnerable. Faceless does not suffer from that affliction. Prophecy has revealed what is to happen? Prophecy and sight are fickle things, Edmure. Not to that degree, Jezebel. I wish it were true, Jezebel said, draining his drink in a single gulp. Edmure watched the warlock. Jezebel's transmogrification was a hideous disguise. The man was sitting before him was stooped, pockmarked, covered in age spots, and had a few tendrils of oily hair desperately clinging to his nearly bald head. Only the baritone of his voice gave away the true man behind the camouflage, and Jezebel never used it with a client, preferring to use the nasally whine of his disguise. I am filling a draft, Jezebel announced, wiping his face with a cloth napkin. Sorry, Edmure replied. Your choice in disguise leaves much to be desired. Actually, it helps me blend in. People do not look twice. Thus the reason I chose this disgraceful persona in the first place. You perfected it, Edmure said, his mouth twisted. And the reason I have been able to live in Seedy Acres without drawing attention to myself, Edmure. In all your time here, Faceless has never visited once, not even to see who purchased a shop in his territory. Not personally, Jezebel said, dismissing the platters with a wave of his hand. He sent Chone to investigate in his stead. Chone, the man's an idiot. You will change your mind once the removal of your prejudice no longer colors what you hear of him. Chone's speech is atrocious, but he is far from an idiot. I can't talk to him for long. It makes my skin crawl, Edmure stated, his mouth twisting into a grimace. I would be unable to converse long enough to find out the truth of your words. Your loss, Jezebel said, shrugging. I find his honest, open manner refreshing. Open? Chone never holds his tongue, as Jezebel told him. That makes speaking with him worth the time, Edmure. How will you handle Faceless, Edmure asked, changing topics. The sight has given me glimpses of what is going to transpire between us, but it has not revealed all. I will handle Faceless as I would any other dangerous man. Magic and caution. Will that be enough for him? I know you fear him, Jezebel said, and rightfully so. I have an advantage you do not. Nist. That alone will ensure Faceless does nothing egregious to me. He has Rix within him. Will this not place you on equal footing? Edmure asked, genuinely curious. His portion is small, Jezebel reminded him. I have the largest share of mist on the planet, currently. I have nothing to fear from my old nemesis. Are you referring to Faceless? Edmure queried, a confused expression on his face. In no way. Rist and Nyx have been enemies since the beginning of the split. I have confronted many who held Rix within them. This is just another encounter in a long, tiring battle between the two. Do you need me to stay? No, I need Faceless here alone. Do not underestimate him, Jezebel. I never underestimate anyone, Edmure. I know you are cautious, Jezebel. With Faceless, caution will not be enough should he decide to change the temper of the meeting. I am sure this will not be a typical encounter. Rix will become active in a way the assassins never experienced before. Sight? Edmure asked. No, Faceless has never used the power within him to its full potential. This leads me to believe our conversation will degrade into conflict once Rix takes control of Faceless. Let me guess, Edmure asked, a lopsided grin on his face. You are going to push the confrontation. I need the assassin aware of the possibilities of his power that he carries. Once his eyes are opened, we will provide him with the means to enact his crusade in the future. A dangerous thing. Faceless could become an enormous problem, Edmure warned. Faceless must be unfettered for the future of the created races, Jezebel said, his eyes looking through Edmure. Please be careful. All our plans will be dashed should you die. I have precautions in place, Jezebel replied. Faceless and Rix will not catch me unawares, Edmure. Good. Do you need anything else from me before I depart for Falcast? Just make sure Domkin elects you for the contract. This is the only thing that could keep you from fulfilling your part. He would never assign himself. The man's a coward, Edmure rose, extending his hand. Until our next encounter. Until then, Jezebel said, walking Edmure back to the door of the shop. Let no one see you leave the city. No one will know I was here. Jezebel watched as Edmure fled down the back street. They would see each other one more time before Edmure would leave to begin his part in the shame to see Strat and his counterpart made into Morgan things safely.